In the world of success and self-development, men often focus on what they can improve about themselves. But few realize that understanding a woman's nature can be one of the most powerful tools on the path to personal freedom and strength. There are things that remain hidden in the shadows, and only those who comprehend them can succeed in relationships, business, and life. Today we're going to talk about the things that no one dares to openly discuss. Top 10 weaknesses of women that every man should know. Why is it important? Because a wise man realizes success in life is not limited to career or personal growth. It is also closely tied to deep relationships and the ability to see the world more broadly. You may think you know everything about women's nature. But here's the secret: it's not the knowledge, but the understanding and application of that knowledge that changes your life. This is what allows you to reach the heights that every man dreams of. If you want to become more aware, stronger, and more confident, you need to understand what's hidden on the surface. And this information, which will be revealed in our video, will change your perception forever. Imagine you're walking down life's path and you have a choice. Either continue to struggle with what you don't understand or gain clarity and inner strength. For as Marcus Aurelius said, you must change yourself to change the world around you. And realizing these weaknesses is your first step on that path. You'll notice that by knowing these aspects, you'll not only be able to improve your relationships with women, but you'll also learn to manage your emotions, develop stoic calm and wisdom. You will be able to keep your inner balance even in difficult situations. And this is the key to success in any area of life. After all, it's not just about recognizing weaknesses. It's about becoming a person who understands life in a deeper way. A person who is able to act not out of emotion, but out of clarity and strength. You'll stop reacting to circumstances. You'll start controlling them. And that's what's truly life-changing. Are you ready to learn the truth that many people avoid? Are you ready to become wiser and more confident? If yes, then keep watching. Because what you'll learn here has already changed the lives of thousands of men who have dared to see the world differently. And it's not just information, it's the key to your growth and success. This video is unlike any other. Here you will find not trite advice, but real principles that are time-tested. Principles that will allow you to become the best version of yourself. And if you're ready, go ahead. Into a world where a man's strength is determined by his wisdom and understanding. Stay with us until the end, because what you learn will change not only your views on women, but also on yourself. And that's what the foundation of true success is all about. Because success starts with clarity of mind and inner strength. And this power is already inside you. You just need to find your way to it. First weakness: emotional instability. When we talk about weaknesses, it's important to realize a weakness is not a flaw. It's just an area that needs attention and understanding. And the first weakness we're going to talk about is emotional instability. Many men deal with this often, but don't always understand how to respond appropriately. Emotions are the foundation of our lives. They can elevate us to the heavens or throw us into an abyss of doubt and misery. And women are often more prone to emotional depth than men. It's not a flaw, it's their nature. However, if men don't understand how to interact with that nature, it can be a source of conflict and misunderstanding. Emotional instability is not about a woman's weakness of character. It's about her ability to feel more deeply. Women worry about many things at once. Their minds are constantly working, processing emotions and experiences. And this can cause their emotional state to change dramatically. You may have noticed this. Yesterday she was calm and balanced, and today she's overwhelmed with anxiety or irritation. For many men this comes as a surprise, and they react negatively to it. They get angry, resentful, or even withdraw. But this is the wrong way. A stoic man realizes that emotions are just temporary waves that come and go. They don't define a man's personality, and they certainly shouldn't affect your inner world. Remember, as Seneca said, he who gives in to other people's emotions becomes their slave. You must remain the master of your own feelings, and only then can you truly help others. When faced with emotional instability, whether in relationships or in life, your task is to remain calm. This is what separates the wise person from the average person. You don't have to respond to her emotions with your own. You need to be like a rock on which the waves crash, but which stays in place. At times when a woman is going through strong emotions, what she's really looking for is stability. She is looking for someone who can be her support, who doesn't waver with her feelings, but is able to stand firm and give her confidence. And if you can be that person, you will not only strengthen your relationship, but you will also become stronger yourself. Remember, emotional instability is not a problem. It's just a challenge that you need to learn to accept with wisdom. Don't try to control her emotions, it's impossible. But you can control yourself and your reactions. And that is your true power. Stoicism teaches us one important principle. We cannot change the world around us, but we can change our perception of it. And when you learn to see emotional outbursts not as a threat, but as an opportunity to bring out your best qualities, your life will become much easier. You'll notice that by remaining calm and confident, you'll influence her emotional state. It won't happen instantly, but over time she will begin to sense your stability and become calmer around you. This will create a strong bond between you based on trust and respect. Remember, emotions come and go, but wisdom remains. If you can stay on your path despite external fluctuations, you will find true strength and peace of mind. And this is what attracts women the most. Not physical strength, but inner confidence that doesn't depend on circumstances. In the next installment, we'll break down another weakness, but remember, understanding emotional instability is the key to a harmonious relationship. This is your chance to become that man who really understands women, and it will make you stronger not only in relationships, but also in life. Second weakness, need for approval. Every woman, like every human being, wants to feel appreciated. But for women, the need for approval often becomes more prominent and even drives their actions. It's not just a desire for a compliment or praise. It's a deep need for recognition that is closely tied to their self-esteem. A wise man realizes that women can manifest this need in different ways. Some openly ask, "How do I look?" and someone seeks approval through actions and deeds, hoping it will be noticed. And herein lies a weakness that is important to recognize. The need for approval can be a source of anxiety and doubt for a woman. She may begin to worry that she's not good enough, that her efforts aren't appreciated, or that she doesn't meet some standard. At times like these, you as a man should be the one to help her see her worth. This doesn't mean you have to constantly give compliments or lift her spirits. It means you have to show through your wisdom and actions that her worth is not dependent on external factors. You have to remind her that her strength is within herself, and that she doesn't need other people's approval to be confident in herself. As Epictetus said, "It doesn't matter what others say about you, it matters what you think of yourself." You can pass this principle on to your partner. It is important to support her, but not through empty words, but through a deep understanding of her needs and a desire to help her realize her inner strength. When a woman feels that she is valued and respected, her need for approval decreases. She begins to feel an inner confidence because she is around a man who sees her real worth, not just her outward appearances. You need to become the man who helps her develop and grow, not just respond to her requests for recognition. It's important to remember that this need for approval can sometimes lead to conflict. When a woman feels unappreciated, she can become irritable or withdrawn. But this is where you need to be patient and understanding. You need to see behind her words and actions the deepest need that lies in each of us, the need to be important and needed. The problem of many men is that they do not realize this weakness and perceive women's requests for recognition as a caprice or unnecessary attention to small things. But this is far from true. When a woman asks for approval, she is actually looking for affirmation of her worth, and your job is to help her find that confidence within herself. Stoicism teaches us to be indifferent to the opinions of others, but that doesn't mean being cold and indifferent to the feelings of loved ones. You can show a woman that her worth does not depend on external factors, but you must do so with respect and understanding of her nature. When you learn to see beyond the need for approval to the deep need for self-esteem, you will become wiser in relationships. You'll be better able to understand why she sometimes behaves this way and not that way. And you'll be willing to support her not through empty compliments, but through recognizing her true strength. It's this approach that sets a strong man apart from all the rest. You become not just a partner, but a mentor and a source of inspiration for your woman. You help her grow and see that she doesn't need external validation of her worth. And this not only strengthens your relationship, but also makes you stronger as a person. In the next part, we'll discuss another weakness that often goes unnoticed, but plays an important role in every woman's life. But before that, remember, A man's wisdom is to see behind the outward manifestations of true needs and to help a woman discover her inner strength and confidence. Third weakness, tendency to excessive anxiety. Anxiety is one of the most common emotions women experience. Unlike men, who are more likely to act decisively and make quick decisions, women tend to process emotions more deeply and for longer periods of time. This makes their nature more sensitive, but also more susceptible to anxiety states. Anxiety in women can manifest itself in different ways. Some may worry about little things, how they look, what others around them will think of them. Someone worries about the future, about safety, about the health of the family. And that's normal, because anxiety is the body's natural defense response. But if it becomes excessive, it can lead to constant tension and exhaustion, both emotional and physical. A man who understands this weakness can be the very pillar that helps deal with anxiety. But this requires not only understanding, but also stoic calmness. As Marcus Aurelius said, anxiety arises not from the events themselves, but from our judgments about them. And your job is to help a woman see the world differently, through the lens of calmness and rationality. When a woman is going through anxious moments, you don't need to solve all her problems. Sometimes she just wants to be heard. She wants to know that there is someone who is ready to listen to her and support her. You don't have to become her rescuer, trying to take away all her fears. Instead, you can be the one who helps her look at the situation differently, more objectively and calmly. Sometimes men make the mistake of trying to ignore their partner's anxiety, considering it useless or unreasonable. But herein lies an important lesson. What seems like a small thing to you may be a source of great anxiety for her. Your job is not to condemn her worries, but to help her deal with them with wisdom and patience. When you remain calm and confident despite her anxieties, you convey this state of mind to her. The woman, sensing your inner stability, will begin to balance herself gradually around you. This is one of the most important principles of Stoicism. Your strength and calmness affect the world around you. Understanding a woman's anxiety is the key to building a deep and trusting relationship. If you can show that her anxiety doesn't scare you, that you're willing to be there for her even when she's having a hard time, it will strengthen your bond. She'll start to see you not just as a partner, but as someone she can trust in any situation. Of course, this doesn't mean you have to become a psychologist or try to solve all her internal problems. Your task is to be an example of stoic calmness and wisdom. You have to show that life is full of challenges, but none of them are worth losing your inner balance. Stoicism teaches us that worries are only an illusion created by our minds. And when you learn to see this yourself and pass this understanding on to others, you will become stronger as a person and as a man. The woman next to you will begin to feel more confident, knowing that her fears do not threaten your union, and that there is someone next to her who is able to give her support when she needs it. In the next installment, we'll talk about weakness, which is closely related to emotional dependency. But before that, remember, anxiety is not an enemy, it's just a signal that you need more awareness and wisdom. And your task as a man is to be the one who helps your woman to find inner peace and confidence, while remaining true to your principles. Fourth weakness, emotional dependency. Emotional dependency is one of those weaknesses that may not always be obvious. However, it has a profound effect on relationships and is often the cause of many difficulties. A woman who becomes emotionally dependent on a man begins to look to him not just for support, but for her own happiness and meaning in life. Therein lies the weakness. After all, no man can be the source of our happiness. The Stoics taught that true happiness comes from within, from our thoughts and perception of the world. Emotional dependence occurs when a person relies on another person to fulfill their inner needs, leading to a loss of personal freedom and inner harmony. When a woman begins to depend on your words, actions, and attention, she loses a part of herself. Her self-confidence begins to fluctuate with your mood, and she begins to build her self-esteem based on your actions. This can lead to her feeling devastated when she doesn't get the attention or recognition she expects from you. Your job as a man is to recognize this weakness and avoid reinforcing it. You don't have to encourage emotional dependency. Instead, you can help a woman find her own strength and confidence by reminding her that her worth is not dependent on external factors or other people. As Marcus Aurelius said, the happiness of your life depends on the quality of your thoughts. You can help your partner see that she is responsible for her own happiness, and that her inner world is far more important than external circumstances. Instead of constantly seeking validation of her worth from others, she should learn to draw strength from within. This doesn't mean you have to be distant or cold. On the contrary, you can be the man who supports her in her quest to become stronger. Your job is not to become her source of happiness, but to help her realize that she herself can be that source. Many men don't realize that emotional dependency can develop into controlling behavior. A woman may start trying to control your actions in order to feel more confident. This is not because she wants to control you, but because she's afraid of losing something she's built her self-esteem on. At times like this, you need to be patient and wise, realizing that this is a manifestation of her inner fears, not her true desires. You can help her realize that her strength is her own inner world, not something external. You can remind her that she has everything she needs to be happy and confident. This will not only help you avoid conflict, but it will also make your bond stronger and deeper. When a woman begins to realize that her happiness doesn't depend on someone else, she gains freedom. And freedom is the foundation of a strong and healthy relationship. When two people are not emotionally dependent on each other, they can build a relationship based on mutual respect and support, not on the fear of losing each other. Emotional dependence is a trap that leads to suffering for both woman and man. But a Stoic approach to life teaches us to be free from external circumstances and not to depend on them emotionally. You can be the man who helps your woman find this freedom by guiding her toward inner harmony and self-sufficiency. In the next installment, we'll discuss another weakness related to expectations and disappointments. But remember, emotional dependency is a weakness that can be overcome through awareness and wisdom. You can be the one who helps your partner become stronger while remaining true to yourself. Fifth weakness: high expectations. Every woman has expectations. Whether it's in relationships, career, or life in general, expectations can be a source of both happiness and deep disappointment. And while striving for the best is a natural human condition, having expectations that are too high can lead to constant disappointment. A woman may expect perfect actions, words, decisions from a man. She can imagine what her partner should be like and how he should behave in certain situations. The problem begins when these expectations do not correspond to reality, when the idealized image of a man doesn't match who he really is. You may have experienced this before. She may be disappointed when you don't meet her expectations, even if they weren't completely realistic. This can cause conflicts and misunderstandings that, if not resolved, can undermine your relationship. A Stoic approach to life teaches us that reality is always stronger than expectations. When we attach ourselves too strongly to a certain outcome, we condemn ourselves to suffering because the world doesn't always go according to our plan. And this knowledge you can pass on to your partner, showing her that reality is not an enemy, but an ally. Instead of indulging her high expectations or trying to meet unrealistic standards, you can help her see that life is a stream of change, and that true happiness is not about controlling every detail, but about accepting the world as it is. When you encounter her disappointment, it's important to remember that it's not always caused by your actions. It's often the result of her internal expectations that didn't match reality. You can't control her thoughts, but you can control your reactions. Stay calm when she expresses dissatisfaction or frustration, and help her see the situation from a more objective perspective. As Epictetus said, we don't control external events, but we do control how we react to them. This is a key lesson you can apply to your relationship. Help her realize that happiness doesn't come from controlling the world around you, but from being able to accept it as it is. High expectations can destroy even the strongest relationships if they are not balanced with wisdom and understanding. When you show your woman that reality can be even better than her expectations if you look at it from the right perspective, you help her find inner peace and confidence. This does not mean that you should be indifferent to her desires or ignore her needs. On the contrary, you must show care and attention, but you must not let her expectations become the cause of your own suffering. The Stoic man realizes that his strength lies in his ability to see the world as it is, and in his ability to find harmony in that world. You can help your partner see that expectations are just a projection of our minds, and that reality, no matter how far removed from those expectations, always holds opportunities for growth and happiness. Instead of trying to conform to her ideals, you can inspire her to learn to accept life as it is. When two people are able to accept each other without excessive expectations, their relationship becomes free and strong. They are no longer built on illusions, but are based on real understanding and support. This is the true power of love, not in idealized images, but in the ability to accept each other as you are. In the next installment, we'll discuss another weakness related to feelings of jealousy. But before that, remember, high expectations are just a barrier to true happiness. And you can be the man who helps your woman to overcome this obstacle, opening for her a world of real possibilities and true joy. Sixth weakness, feelings of jealousy. Jealousy is an emotion that can destroy even the strongest of relationships. This feeling stems from fear of loss and insecurity, and while it can be natural for all people, women tend to display jealousy more emotionally. Jealousy can arise not only from the fear of losing a partner to another woman, but also from the feeling that they are not good enough or that they are not valued enough. This is when a woman begins to feel vulnerable and perhaps even self-doubt. And although jealousy is just a signal that indicates inner doubts, if not handled properly, it can cause serious problems in a relationship. The Stoics taught us to control our emotions and to realize that many of them do not come from external circumstances, but from our internal judgments. Jealousy is one such example. When a woman is jealous, it's not always due to your actions. It's often a reflection of her own fears and insecurities. It's important to realize that jealousy can be expressed in different ways. Some women may talk openly about their feelings and fears, while others may suppress them, which can lead to underlying tension in the relationship. Either way, your job as a man is to help her deal with this emotion without making the situation worse. Jealousy is not just a distrust of your partner, it's a distrust of yourself. A woman may feel that she is not good enough, that she could be replaced, that she is not loved as much as she wants to be. These inner doubts feed jealousy and cause her to act irrationally. And when you encounter these manifestations, it's important not to take it personally. The Stoic approach to jealousy is to remain calm and realize that it is not an attack on you, but an expression of her inner fears. You should not respond to jealousy with aggression or, on the contrary, ignore it. Instead, you can show understanding and help your partner realize that her jealousy is not justified and that she is much stronger and more confident than she thinks. As Epictetus said, it is not events that disturb people, but their views of events. This is a key lesson that can be applied to the jealousy situation. A woman is jealous not because there is a real threat to your relationship, but because her mind is creating this scenario. You can help her see reality more clearly without the filter of fears and doubts. However, it's important not to just reassure her or promise her that you'll never give her a reason to be jealous. That won't fundamentally solve the problem. Instead, you should help her develop self-confidence and show her that her worth is not dependent on external factors or other people. You can support her aspirations and show her that she deserves to be loved for who she is, not for how she acts or what she does. One of the main lessons of Stoicism is that we can't control other people or their thoughts, but we can control our own reactions and perceptions. When a woman is jealous, it's a test not only for her, but also for you. You must show wisdom and calmness by not letting her emotions affect your inner state. When you stay confident and don't give in to her jealousy, you show her an example of how to control your emotions. This doesn't mean you have to be indifferent to her feelings. On the contrary, you can show compassion and understanding, but still remain firm in your principles and not let jealousy ruin your relationship. Jealousy can be a strong emotion, but it can also be overcome. The Stoics believed that we can learn to control our emotions through reason and awareness. And this is what you can teach your partner by helping her see that jealousy is just an illusion created by her mind. When a woman begins to realize this, she gains freedom from jealousy. She begins to see that her power lies not in controlling you or the situation, but in controlling herself. This frees her from the constant fear of losing you and allows her to build a relationship based on trust and respect rather than fear and doubt. Instead of suppressing jealousy or ignoring it, you can use it as an opportunity for growth. You can help your woman grow stronger by showing her that her worth is not dependent on external factors, that she is worthy of love and respect on her own. This will strengthen your relationship and make it stronger. In the next installment, we'll discuss another weakness related to the desire for control and power. But before that, remember, jealousy is just a reflection of inner fears that can be overcome through wisdom and understanding. You can be the man who helps your woman gain self-confidence while remaining true to herself. Seventh weakness, desire for control. The desire for control is one of the most common weaknesses that can manifest in relationships. It stems from the fear of losing control over a situation, over oneself, or over others. At the heart of this desire is the desire for security and stability. But when this desire goes out of bounds, it can become an overwhelming force that prevents both the man and the woman in the relationship from growing. A woman who feels the need to be constantly in control often does so unknowingly. She may seek to guide you, to tell you how to act, how to be, and what to do. This desire to control is not always explicit, but it can be seen in the little things. In her demands, in her expectations, in her continuous attempts to control how events should unfold. The Stoic view of life teaches us to realize that much in this world is beyond our control, and trying to control every aspect of life is a path to suffering. A man who realizes this truth does not give in to pressure from his partner to control him. He remains firm and confident that everyone's primary task is to control only his own thoughts, reactions, and actions. A woman may try to control the relationship because she feels insecure or afraid of losing you. It's the fear of the unknown, the desire to be sure things will go the way she expects. But the stronger this desire for control, the less freedom there is in the relationship. And where there is no freedom, there is no true happiness and harmony. When you are faced with this desire for control, it's important not to fight. Don't respond to control with control. Don't try to prove yourself through force or pressure. Instead, you can apply Stoic calm and wisdom. You can help your woman see that controlling external circumstances is an illusion, and that true happiness comes through acceptance and harmony with the world, not controlling it. You can remind her that you are both free individuals, and that you are each responsible for yourselves. In a relationship based on mutual respect and support, control is unnecessary, because trust and confidence in each other is what truly binds two people together. Control is just a reaction to fear, and when that fear is overcome, the need for control disappears. As Seneca said, it is not slavery that must be taught, but freedom. It is in your power to show your woman that freedom in a relationship is not a threat, but an opportunity for growth. When a man stops trying to control everything around him, he gains an inner peace and confidence that cannot be found in trying to control the world. A Stoic approach to life teaches us not to become attached to things and circumstances that are beyond our control. This doesn't mean indifference, but it does mean that we learn to let go of what we can't change and focus on what really depends on us. You can be the one who inspires your woman to have this understanding by showing her by example how to be free of excessive attachments and fear. Control in a relationship is essentially an attempt to protect yourself from pain or disappointment. But the Stoics taught that pain and disappointment are inevitable parts of life and should not frighten us. Instead of avoiding these emotions, we should learn to accept them and become stronger through overcoming them. When your woman realizes that control won't save her from pain, but acceptance will make her stronger, she'll be free of this compulsion. Of course, this is not a quick process. Getting rid of the controlling habit takes time and conscious effort. But when you show patience and understanding, it opens the door to a deeper and more harmonious relationship. You can support her along the way by staying true to your principles and helping her gain confidence in herself and in your relationship. Control is just an attempt to run away from fear, but when a man realizes that fear can be overcome, control loses its power. When a woman realizes that she doesn't need to control every move to feel safe, she begins to truly trust herself and her partner. This is the foundation of a healthy and strong relationship. Trust and freedom, not fear and control. In the next installment, we'll discuss another weakness related to the need for approval. But first, remember, the desire for control is an illusion that gets in the way of true freedom. You can be the man who helps your woman to free herself from this burden and find self-confidence without trying to control the world around her. Eighth weakness: need for approval. The need for approval is one of the deep-seated weaknesses that can make it difficult for women to find true self-confidence and harmony in relationships. At the heart of this desire is the desire to be accepted, to be appreciated, to receive affirmation of one's worth through external sources, be it a partner, friends, or society at large. Many women are taught from childhood that their self-esteem depends on how they are perceived by others. This desire to conform to expectations, to be perfect in the eyes of others, can be a real trap. It forces them to constantly seek validation of their importance, fearing to be judged or rejected. You may notice how this need manifests itself in relationships. A woman may seek your approval in little things, in questions about how she looks, what she does, what her decisions are. She may worry about what you will think of her, how others around her will perceive her, and constantly try to prove her worth through actions and behaviors that are actually designed to gain your approval. The Stoics taught us to seek approval not in the outside world, but within ourselves. A person who is confident of his or her worth does not need constant affirmation from the outside. And this is one of the most important lessons you can pass on to your woman. She must realize that her worth is not determined by what others think of her. True strength and confidence are born when a man accepts himself for who he is and stops depending on external evaluations. When you notice that your woman is trying to earn your approval, it is important to show her that you love and appreciate her not for her outward actions or accomplishments, but for her essence. You can help her see that her desire to be perfect in your eyes or in the eyes of others is only a temporary illusion, and that true freedom comes when one begins to live in harmony with oneself rather than in search of external recognition. As Marcus Aurelius said, the human soul becomes stronger when it refuses to seek approval in the eyes of others and begins to rely on its own judgment. This is wisdom that can change not only your life, but your partner's life as well. When you inspire her to start trusting herself, you help her break free from the chains that cause her to seek acceptance from the outside. Of course, this doesn't mean that a woman should completely ignore other people's opinions, but the difference is in not letting those opinions determine her self-esteem. The Stoics believe that we can respect others, but remain independent of their evaluations and judgments. And that's something you can teach your woman. Respect the opinions of others, but don't put them above your own inner voice. The need for approval is often linked to insecurity. A woman who is constantly seeking your recognition may not realize her own power and worth. And your job as a man is to help her discover that power, to remind her that she is unique and beautiful in her own right, regardless of what others think. You can show understanding and support, but it's important not to encourage her dependence on your approval. You need to show her that her self-esteem should come from within, not from the outside. This may not be easy, especially if she has been used to relying on external evaluations since childhood. But when she begins to realize her own power, her life and your relationship will change for the better. The Stoic path is the path to inner freedom and independence. And if you want to help your woman become stronger, you must teach her that her worth is not dependent on the opinions of others. When a man gains this freedom, he begins to act not for approval, but for his own inner peace and happiness. This makes him more confident, more peaceful, and more harmonious. In a relationship based on mutual respect and support, the need for approval disappears. After all, such relationships are built on trust, not on the need to validate one's worth. When you and your woman begin to realize this, your relationship grows deeper and stronger. You stop looking for each other's approval and begin to appreciate each other for who you really are. In the next installment, we'll discuss another weakness related to emotional vulnerability. But first, remember, the need for approval is a weakness that can be overcome through inner confidence and realizing your true worth. You can be the man who helps your woman find that strength and independence by showing her that her value is within herself. Ninth weakness: emotional vulnerability. Emotional vulnerability is one of those aspects of a woman's nature that cannot be ignored. It manifests itself in moments when a woman feels unprotected, when her emotions come out and she reveals her weaknesses. But it is in this vulnerability that a deep strength and beauty is hidden, if it is channeled correctly. Many men don't realize that emotional vulnerability often hides a need for support and understanding. A woman can open up to you, showing you her fears, worries, and doubts because she trusts you. But in these moments, she needs not only protection, but also acceptance. When she feels that her vulnerability is not used against her, but on the contrary, accepted with warmth and care, she becomes stronger. Emotional vulnerability is not weakness in the true sense. It is the ability to be honest with oneself and with one's partner, to open up without fear of being judged. But if a woman doesn't feel supported, this vulnerability can become a source of pain and anxiety. She will feel that she is not understood, that her emotions are underestimated or even rejected. A Stoic view of life teaches us that emotions are part of the human experience. We should not suppress them, but we must learn to manage them without letting them control our actions and decisions. You can help your woman realize that her emotions are not a weakness, but also remind her of the importance of inner balance. When a woman shows emotional vulnerability, she expects you not only to understand, but also to reassure her. She wants to know that her emotions won't disturb your calm, that you can stay above the situation and help her find her way out of her emotional maze. This doesn't mean ignoring her feelings, but it does mean being a support for her, a source of stability when she feels on edge. Marcus Aurelius said, "You have power over your mind, but not over external events. Realize this, and you will gain power." This is a lesson you can pass on to your woman when she is feeling emotionally vulnerable. Her emotions are not something she should run away from. Instead, she can learn to accept them and find the inner strength to deal with them. Emotional vulnerability isn't just moments of sadness or fear. It is also moments of joy, love, deep feelings that can overwhelm her. Sometimes a woman may be afraid of these strong emotions, fearing that they will make her too dependent on the relationship, too attached. But when she realizes that these emotions are a natural part of human nature, she gains the freedom to express them without fear. Your role as a man is to be unafraid of this vulnerability. Instead of distancing yourself or trying to hide it, you can help your woman see that emotional vulnerability is an opportunity for growth. It's a moment when she can become stronger, when she can understand herself and her needs more deeply. A Stoic approach to relationships is not the absence of emotion, but the ability to manage it with wisdom and judgment. When you help your woman to see that her emotions are not an enemy but an ally, you become a support, a source of strength and understanding for her. This makes your relationship stronger and deeper, creates an atmosphere of trust and mutual support. But it's important to remember that emotional vulnerability requires respect. You should never use the moments when a woman opens up to you to manipulate her feelings or weaken her. On the contrary, you can help her become stronger by showing her that her emotions are not something to be ashamed of, but something she can control and grow through. In a relationship where a woman feels that her emotional vulnerability is accepted, she will be more open, more trusting. She will realize that she can be herself without hiding her feelings and experiences. This will create a strong foundation for your union, based on true understanding and respect. In the next installment, we'll discuss the last weakness of constant self-examination and doubt. But first, remember, emotional vulnerability is not a weakness, but an opportunity for growth and deep understanding. You can be the man who helps your woman accept her emotions and find inner strength, while remaining a source of stability and support. 10th weakness: constant self-inquiry and doubt. Self-examination and doubt are internal battles that women face far more often than meets the eye. It's a weakness that is often hidden from others, but deep down it can eat a woman from the inside out, causing her to constantly search for her flaws, question her worth, and doubt her own decisions. Each of us, regardless of gender, faces doubts. But in the case of women, it often turns into an ongoing internal dialogue filled with questions of, am I good enough? Am I doing the right thing? What if? These questions can drain her emotionally, and often a man doesn't even realize that behind her smile or confidence lurk such thoughts. When a woman is in a state of constant self-exploration, she can manifest it in many different ways. She may question your relationship, her decisions, or even little things that don't matter much in the long run. You may notice her asking you for reassurances, asking a lot of questions, looking for answers to doubts that, in fact, have no single right answer. Stoic philosophy teaches us that doubts are part of human nature, but we must not let them control us. Doubts arise when we begin to view the world through the lens of fear and uncertainty. And your job as a man is to help your woman see that her doubts are not reality, but merely shadows cast by her own thoughts. One of the main principles of Stoicism is to focus on what we can control. When a woman is immersed in self-examination, she tends to spend her energies on things that are beyond her control. She may worry about what others will think, how her actions will be perceived by others, or what might happen in the future. But all of these things are just illusions that cannot be completely predicted or controlled. You can help your woman by directing her attention to what really matters. As Epictetus said, we cannot control what happens to us, but we can control our attitude toward it. Instead of drowning in doubt, she can learn to accept reality as it is and focus on what is within her control: her thoughts, her actions, and her perception of what is happening. Sometimes self-examination can come from a desire for perfection. A woman may strive to be perfect in all areas of life, in her work, in her relationships, in her appearance. But the Stoics taught us that striving for perfection is the path to disappointment. There is no such thing as perfection, and trying to achieve it only reinforces doubt and dissatisfaction. Your role in these situations is to support her by reminding her that she's already good enough. Don't demand perfection from her. Don't push her to keep digging into herself. Instead, show her that her real strength lies not in being perfect, but in accepting herself as she is. We've come to the end of our journey. You've learned about the 10 weaknesses that make understanding a woman's nature a powerful tool in any man's hands. This knowledge won't just help you build more harmonious relationships, it will enrich your understanding of yourself. After all, everything we do, all our successes and victories start from within. But to continue on your path to true success, it's important to remember every step on the path of self-development requires discipline and wisdom. And our channel is your trusted companion on that path. We regularly discuss topics that inspire, make you think, and help you move forward. If this video gave you new ideas, if you felt the power that knowledge can give, subscribe to our channel. Your support is the energy that allows us to create even more content that will help you grow and develop. Don't forget to put a like if you like this episode, and of course, share your thoughts in the comments. Your experience, your discoveries are important to us. After all, Stoicism teaches us not only to develop ourselves, but also to support others in their journey. And remember, a man's strength lies not in his physical might, but in his ability to remain calm, clear, and act with wisdom. This knowledge is your tool, your key to success, and our job is to help you do just that. See you again. Be strong, be wise, and never stop your journey to perfection.